So, looking at number 11 through 20. Number 11, it said solve, and we had x squared minus 81 equals 0. Now, yes, it is a quadratic, and you could use quadratic format if you really wanted to. However, this one's actually just going to be much easier to solve by trying to isolate x by itself. So on this one, we have the 81. We can go ahead and move over to the other side by adding it to the other side. So start off plus 81 plus 81. So rewrite this, and we have x squared equals a positive 81. And then we have to get rid of the square. So we can square root it. Anytime you square root a value when solving, you get both a positive and negative outcome. So square root of 81 is 9. And that's our answer for that one. Yep. For number 12, let me do this one over here. So we have 4x squared equals 25. First thing, divide off the 4. So we have x squared equals 25 over 4. Then we can get rid of the square by square rooting, just like we did on the last one. Well, now, again, we're going to get two outcomes, positive and negative. Both of these are perfect squares. The square root of 25 is 5. The square root of 4 is 2. So, positive or negative, 5 over 2. And that would be our final answer. Nope. I accidentally put an x squared there. That should just be x at that point. We just took the square root. So, again, that is our final answer. Number 13. Graph the following. So now, I don't care if you did it on the back of your paper or wherever, but you're supposed to have a graph for these. So I'm just going to do them on a sticky note for right now. Again, they don't have to be the world's best graphs here. For the first one, y equals negative 2. We're to draw our x and y axis. Anytime you have an equation that's just equal to y and there's no x value involved, what type of line does it give you? Nobody remembers. So again, most of our equations of lines have both variables, right? An x and a y. But if it only has one of the two, it's going to be one of two types of lines, either a horizontal or a vertical line. When it's set equal to y, it's a horizontal. So here's our y-axis. So at y is negative 2, so this would be negative 2. We'd have a line that's horizontal at negative 2. On the next one, now it's just equal to x. So this one would be our vertical line. So again, draw my x and y axis. Doesn't have to be anything spectacular. X, y. So now this is a vertical line at x equals 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. At 4, it's a vertical line. Again, doesn't have to be world's best graph. That's it. That's all I'm looking for. On the next one, we had y equals negative x plus 2. These next two are both in slope-intercept form. Remember, for slope-intercept form, that's y equals mx plus b. Right? Y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So first, let's draw our x and y axis for these two graphs. X, y, x, y. So now, we can graph our y-intercept first. So at positive 2, 1, 2, we should have a point. We have a slope of negative 1. So again, the b value was 2. The m value is the negative 1. So we're going down 1 over 1. So let me put a couple values here on the x-axis. Down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1. So, after you have a few points, you can draw yourself a line. Should look something like that. On the next one, same idea. So we have our b value this time at -5. Our slope is +3. So -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to have to make this graph a little bit bigger. So at -5, I have a point. Then we use our slope. That slope of 3, we go up 3 over 1. So we'll put a couple lines this way. 1, 2, 3 over 1. Got my graph another point. Up 3. 1, 2, 3 over 1. So we got 3 points there. We can draw a line from that. And all you really have to draw a straight line is 2 points. Again, for your exam is multiple choice. Are you going to have to actually draw the graph? No. Could you have to look at an equation and then identify which graph it is? Yes. Or could you be given a graph and asked to identify the equation? Yes. So again, it's multiple choice on the exam. It's not going to be you have to draw the graph. You're just going to have to be able to identify the graph with the correct equation, or the equation with the correct graph. All right. All right. Let me set that up there. Yeah, those are the answers for 13. Number 14. Find the midpoint of a segment with these endpoints. So again, that's our midpoint formula, which our midpoint formula, if you remember, is an average of the x's and average of the y's. So the actual formula is this. x1 plus x2 divided by 2. y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Again, it's an average, so we're just averaging the x's and the y's. So in this one we'd have 6 plus 14 divided by 2. 2 plus 20 divided by 2. 6 plus 14 is 20. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 2 plus 20 is 22. 22 divided by 2 is 11. That's our answer. 10, 11. Average of the x's, average of the y's. All right, on 15. This one, we have to solve for y. Well, in order to solve for y, we first have to solve this equation for x. So our first step, we could go ahead and bring the 4 over by subtracting it. So we get -2. X equals +8. Then, divide off the -2. If you divide 8 by -2, you get -4. Once you have x is -4, you got to plug it in. So plug into this equation. You'd have 2y minus 3 times -4 equals 10. So now you can simplify a little bit. We still have the 2y. -3 and -4 become +12. So now we can bring the 12 over to the other side. We can subtract it off. 2y equals -2. Finally, divide by 2 and y is -1. Is that perfect? Ask you to turn the volume down. Alright, on 16. What is the difference between this one and this one? When A is 3 and, oh, there was a typo there, and B is 8. So that should have said, and B is 8. Yeah. Who? Little loud, little loud. Yeah.
Say what you want.
Alright, so plug these two values in. So 3 in for A, 8 in for B. And then they want to know the difference. So after you plug them in, then you're going to have to subtract them. So we have 3 going in for the first one. 3 squared plus 8 squared. Well, 3 squared is 9. 8 squared is 64. Together that's 73. On the second one, again, plug them in. 3 plus 8 squared. 3 plus 8 is 11. 11 squared is 121. So now, they want the difference between these. Now, if they give you options of both positive and negative numbers, it's important you know which one goes first. If they are saying the difference, you're usually supposed to subtract in that order. So here, really we should be doing 73 minus 121, which would give us a negative number. So that's going to give us a negative 48. Number 17. A circular region has 10 non-overlapping sectors of equal size, labeled A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I, and J. If the spinner on the regions is likely to stop at any one of the 10 sectors, as on any other, what is the probability the spinner will stop on a select labeled value? So, oh sorry, not value, vowel. So, if we look at this, we had how many vowels there? We had A, we had E, and we had I. So you had 3 of them. Out of how many? 10. So this is just basic probability. 3 out of 10. Now they only asked for it one time. Right? They only said we're spinning once. So it's just going to be 3 out of 10. Now if they had said that we're spinning again, and we wanted to get a vowel twice, then we've done 3 out of 10 again and multiplied them. But again, since we're only doing one, that's all we had to do. Just set up the first probability. That's all they asked for on this one. All right. Number 18. If this is equal to this, and y is a real number, then what can x not equal? So we have a fraction. What's the one thing you can't have happen in a fraction? What's the only thing that can't happen in a fraction in order to get a value? There's only going to be one thing that gives us, say if you typed it into your calculator, an error or undefined or, Zero where? The bottom. So the only thing that would make this not a real number is if 0 was on the bottom. So on here, this entire part, the x plus 4, that part cannot equal 0. So if we figure out what would make it equal to 0, subtract 4, get negative 4. X cannot equal negative 4. Because if you plug negative 4 into that, what happens to the bottom? It becomes 0. You can't have 0 in a fraction. That's all they were asking for on that one. So I know I had lots of questions yesterday on that one. But again, that was it. Alright. Number 19. The nth term of sequence is defined by this. So, they gave us an equation. They said the 25th term is how much greater than the 40th term. So this is almost exactly like what we just did on number 16. We got to plug the values in and then subtract the difference. So plug in the numbers. We got 2 times 45 plus 5. 2 times 45 is 90. 90 plus 5 is 95. Plug in 40. 2 times 40 plus 5. That's 80. Plus 5 is 85. So how much greater is the 45th term? 95 minus 85 is 10. And the last one from yesterday. A box contains 6 red, 10 blue, and 4 yellow marbles. There are no other marbles in the box. If one marble is to be drawn at random from the box, what is the probability that the marble drawn will be yellow? So, on here, again, we're doing probability, and they only ask for one marble again, so that makes this easy. There are 4 yellow marbles in the box. How many total? How many total? So we had 6, 10, and 4. 20, yeah, all right. So we have 4 out of 20, which we could reduce that. Both of those are divisible by 4. So it could be 1 out of 5 chance of getting yellow. Again, that's an acceptable answer. Or you could also write this as what other 2 ways? Decimal or percent. So 1/5 is an acceptable answer. But again, the test is going to be multiple choice. So they could leave the answer as a fraction. They could change it to a decimal, which would be 0.2, or they could change it to a percent, which would be 20%. So again, any one of those 3 answers is acceptable. So again, look at your answer choices. Again, I would always figure it out as a fraction, and then if you need to change it, change it. Okay. Any questions on those 10 that we just went over?